Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm John Lazarus with Stories Matter and D&E Publishing. Picture this. You're driving to work one day when a car cuts you off, causing you to spill coffee all over your work clothes. You want to speed ahead and brake check them, but a closer look reveals it's a mother of four with at least one child in a wheelchair, so that's out of the question. When you get to work, you discover the Filipino man you've been paying to do your job for 4 times less than you drowned in a typhoon. Then lunch gets pushed all the way to 12. A crow attacks you for throwing rocks at it during your smoke break. And just when you think things can't get any worse, when you get home, your wife tells you she's thinking of taking a yoga class, which means you'll have to spend a ton of time going through her texts and emails to make sure she's not cheating on you. But there's a silver lining to these misfortunes. They and the life lessons they provide can be perfect inclusions in your memoir. Today we'll go over some tips on how to write a memoir on this edition of Stories Matter. Today's video is brought to you by hidden recording devices. Inspiration can strike any time of day, and there's nothing worse than forgetting to jot down a killer bit of dialogue, plot thread, or a funny joke you heard in the woman's bathroom. But with hidden recording devices, you don't have to worry about it anymore. These easily concealable devices fit neatly in your office, car, bedroom, or your secretary's coat. As an added side benefit, you can use them to closely observe others in their natural state, providing essential insight to the human condition to use in your writing. And don't forget to visit your local law office today to inquire about two-party consent. You might be thinking, hey John, I'm not a super famous and interesting celebrity. I'm not superior to regular humans. I don't have a team of underlings to whom I can subject my sex crimes. Why would anyone read my memoir? Well, hold on there. Let's unpack that for a moment. Memoirs aren't just for the rich and famous. Sure, people love celebrity gossip, but what makes a memoir truly stand out is the theme and story, not the personality. Tuesdays with Morrie is one of the most successful memoirs ever, and not only is the subject not a celebrity, he's a professor at a middling university, and the only really important thing he does is die. But the book's main message, that life is important, clearly resonated with millions of viewers. Anyone can write a memoir so long as they have a good enough story to tell. I've long felt that junkies and soldiers were the lowest of the low, the disposable, bottom-feeding leeches of our society least deserving of our attention. But the trials and tribulations of drug addiction and war have made for excellent reading. Something like Angela's Ashes also, I think, taught many people that poor people were worth caring about, at least for however long it took to read the book. Let's look at 4 steps to write the best possible memoirs we can. Step 1. Choose the theme. Like a wedding or a wife-swapping key party, memoirs work best if they have a clearly recognizable theme. The theme should be the life lessons you learned and hope to pass along to your reader. Perhaps you're a veteran teacher who, through decades of hard work and the close bonds you form with your students, has come to realize that free public education was a mistake. Perhaps you just got out of a cult that turned out to be a lot less lucrative than you'd hoped. Stories of survival are very popular. In my first memoir, Into the Swamp of Madness, I wrote about my harrowing 2 years as a beat reporter in suburban Jacksonville. Step 2. Write truthfully. It's only natural to see the best version of ourselves. We often leave out details or tell obvious lies to seem better in the eyes of others. That's why my author profile used to say I went to Oxford when actually I never went anywhere, or why I list myself as 6'7" on my Ashley Madison profile when I'm actually 5'9". Still, if you want to touch people, you have to reach into those ugly places of yourself and lay it out bare for all to see. Sure, some people might think it odd you've had 4 children from 3 different marriages run away from home, but most will relate to your pain and sorrow. Similarly, I was shocked to learn that Richard Dean Anderson nearly killed his best friend by giving him a homemade blood transfusion. But then I realized these are just people like you or me, and they make the same mistakes we do. Step 3. Think like a fiction writer. Just because this is a true story doesn't mean it shouldn't follow the rules of your own fiction. You need exposition. You need central conflict. You need to develop your character. You need to flesh out your setting, and you need an arc. If you're in the middle of writing your story and it feels like your story lacks the necessary drama, live it out. If you're a successful executive, expose yourself on a Zoom call to expedite your fall from grace narrative. Junkies and alcoholics might need to relapse or go cold turkey, depending on your point in the narrative. Step 4. Be relatable. Nobody wants to read a story that's preachy or condescending that isn't also kink-shaming kink erotica. While I'm sure Matthew McConaughey thinks he's smarter, funnier, and exists on a higher plane than the rest of us, he still writes as if he wouldn't hunt us for sport. For many of you, this won't be a problem, as your blandness and your middle-class mediocrity will instantly make you relatable. But not all writers have this luxury. So if you're wealthy, I suggest grabbing a few hollow points and driving through the less well-off parts of town to observe the common man in his natural state. And if you're poor, sneak into the homes of middle-class families you're doing landscaping for and see what you can learn. That's all for today. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll leave you with this week's author quote of the week. See you on the next one.